Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we are back at it again today with another edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. And today we have a double header on this Super Bowl Sunday for you guys as we'll be racing at two half-mile short tracks. Two tracks that are very, very similar to one another and back-to-back races as we try to get Kyle Busch closer to another NASCAR Busch Series title. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's coverage. Today's coverage, I guess, before the start of course, the biggest football game of the year. So hence the reason I got my Green Bay Packers jersey on, despite the fact that they are not playing today, as I see in the chat already. I know, trust me, it was heartbreaking. We didn't even make the dance, let alone the fact that we would have made a deep run. So, needless to say, let's get into the race today. First, we have the UPS Speedway, formerly the Red Ball Raceway in the older NASCAR EA games, and then even in the newer. For whatever reason, this is the only game that decided to have like sponsored tracks like UPS Speedway and Mr. Clean Speedway. Then they renamed them. Well, actually, I think the Mr. Clean Speedway turned into the All-State Speedway like in NASCAR 07. So that one was still named, but this one went back to Red Ball. So I don't know, like if UPS paid, you know, NASCAR's EA Sports franchise for 1 year. I don't know what the case was there, but anyway. We're going to get into the race. Qualified on the pole for this first one today. We will be doing both races as 100% races for today's race as well. There will be practice before the next race. No practice, but qualifying for the next race at Bristol as well. So here we go. This is the longer of the two races. This one 350 laps. Our second race today will be 250 laps. The top three start 1 through 3 in the same order they are in points. And Kyle Busch leads the field to the green. And we are underway for race 1 of our doubleheader on this Sunday afternoon. The likelihood that Kyle Busch will win the championship today, very slim. He's going to need a lot of help in order to do it. But I guess you never know. He'll lead the opening lap of the race as they're 2 by 2 most of the way through the field behind him. Really trying to take control early. We saw in our Truck Series race on Wednesday night at this UPS Speedway that our driver in that series, Ricky Craven, was not able to get the win despite leading over 3/4 of the race. John Hamilton ran him down on a long green flag run to lead in the late going. They battled back and forth, but Craven was unable to hold on for the win. Dawson Fair, thanks for tuning in. Zachary K, RBLX Viper Demo Team. Stanley Panther, also welcome into the stream. Wade, welcome in. A week away from the Daytona 500 indeed, and we will be having live commentary streams Wednesday through Sunday for Speed Weeks this year on the channel. A late decision for myself that I will not be going to the Daytona 500 next weekend or any of the Speed Week races, so we will be right here on the channel for all of Speed Weeks, giving you guys live commentary streams, again, Wednesday through Sunday, starting with qualifying Wednesday night for the Daytona 500. Most of the Speed Weeks coverage is on Fox Sports 1, so if you are unable to watch it, if you do not have a cable or streaming provider that carries FS1, then you can tune in, and then Daytona 500 will be live streaming as well for that one. A week from today. Got my money on the Eagles today, by the way. I got them in an alternative spread at 3.5. That's part of the parlay. I got a bunch of other stuff with player stats in that game too. But I got the Eagles winning today's game. I'm sure I'm going to get asked that quite a bit over the next couple hours during this stream, but say right here, right now. Just making the late decision. There's a bunch of stuff, you know, outside of, you know, YouTube that I'm planning on doing within the next couple months, and Daytona would from a financial standpoint, kind of set me back just a little bit on what I plan on doing. I plan on really trying to move out of my current home, shooting for about like April, May. But the Daytona trip would save me a couple $1,000s to be able to put down towards that new car. So I decided, I made the decision, I think, what was it, 2 nights ago in the stream? So every night since like Thursday, I've been trying to let you guys know. I'll probably make a short video sometime tomorrow and upload it just to give the streaming schedule for the week. So mostly live commentary streams for next week. I didn't get to watch the Wings game yesterday. Actually, yesterday was the last Saturday I had to work, so I wasn't able to watch it. I saw they won 5-2, though. I didn't realize they were playing that early until I went on my lunch break. I'm like, oh, the Red Wings game's on right now, and I saw they were up 2-0 already right before I went back to work. Scored 2 goals in the first, what, like 5 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game? Crazy. Pretty big lead for Kyle Busch in the early going. 18 laps in, a 3.3 second lead, and quickly pulling away. We saw Craven had a really good short run truck, but kind of struggled on the long run, though, in the truck race. So we'll see as Kyle Busch gets into lap traffic how it's going to fare for him, and if we see any cautions as well, because we did go caution-free in both of our Truck Series races on Wednesday night. We had a doubleheader. UPS Speedway was the latter of the 2 races. We had 2 caution-free truck races the other day. This race 150 laps longer than that 200-lap truck race, though. Too much of the apron off the exit of the corner. I noticed the apron's very forgiving at this racetrack. Been able to get the left sides down on it, and honestly, the car sticks pretty well. It wasn't really doing that in the Truck Series. It seemed like whenever I did that, it just kind of pushed the truck up the racetrack quite a bit. But at least in the early going with relatively fresh tires still, Kyle Busch really able to grip well on the bottom lane. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in our first race of the day. We'll have a trivia question, but it won't be coming up until the second race of our doubleheader this afternoon. It's the final Sunday afternoon stream on the channel for the video game side of things until a long time from now. Cup Series will be racing all but 2 Sundays this year. 2 Saturday night races, but then they have 1 off week as well, so pretty quiet. Busch slowly catching up to the back of the field right now. About 30 laps in. A lot of traffic ahead of him. A 4.3 second lead, though, so he doesn't really have to rush through it. He can take his time if he chooses. He's hoping that everybody in front of him is going to hold their line, not make a mistake. It's going to be very interesting if this is going to be a 1 or a 2 stop race today. Very curious to find out. Just saw a car blow an engine, by the way, that last lap on the front stretch. A little contact getting into turns 3 and 4. I think they were 3 wide initially into the corner with Busch on the bottom. watch Friday night, Saturday evening, Sunday afternoon. Talk about the live commentary streams, appreciate it. Busch kind of overdrove the corner a little bit, making contact with the car on his outside. Still a 4.5 second lead as he's working in the lap traffic currently. And doing the best he can with it. There might have been contact with some of the lap cars. JJ Yaley just about got moved out of the way. He's got Jamie McMurray in the 64 car in front of him. It's a few cars yet ahead of Kyle Busch and where he's at right now. I believe there were only 8 drivers that finished on the lead lap of that caution-free truck race that was 200 laps at the Red Bull or UPS Speedway. I think it was the first time I've made that mistake, the rebranded name of this track on this game. That I can remember. I mean, I probably did make that mistake a bunch of times before. I just forgotten. Notice ever since Kyle Busch got into traffic, it feels like the car has gotten just a little bit tighter now that he's in dirtier air. Hopefully it doesn't get worse and worse and worse over the course of the run because we're only 40 laps in and haven't even hit halfway out of fuel yet. So the trucks be able to go a little over 100 laps on a full tank. Interesting if the Busch series will be right around there. Jamie McMurray getting bottled up on the outside lane. He's got Casey Kane not that far behind him, and he got into the back of the 138 as well, and that causes the 138 to not get to the bottom in time before Kyle Busch can lap him. Through turns 3 and 4. Busch comes into today's race with just over a 5th place average finish. 5.3 coming into this one. If he can get a couple wins, that could definitely knock it down below 5. It's been a historic season so far for Kyle Busch. From a consistency standpoint, we've still had 10 different winners through 25 races. Busch has won 10 of them, though. Penguin Man, thanks for tuning in. 37-34. I think Vegas kind of predicted both teams being in the 20s. Right around there. Half the NFL script didn't even see you mention that. Attendance 63,381. Yeah, I mean, that could be it. If that's the capacity, and they're going to be sold out. Like, when does the Super Bowl not sell out? So whatever the capacity in Glendale, Arizona is, and at least you can easily predict that. "50 laps in, Busch has only made contact with 2 cars. He's been in lap traffic for about 20 laps, then he had clean air and really no battle going on for the first 30, at least for position. Still a long ways to go. You just never know what can happen. Definitely going to be able to go a little bit over 100 laps on fuel at the very least. I probably lean towards this being a 2 pit stop race rather than 1. We'll still just have to wait and find out. Coil Prod, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, man, Kyle Busch fan. Well, there you go. Hey, you guys voted for me to race as him, so you can thank everybody in the chat for me racing as Busch this season. 3 wide off the exit of turn 4. We got Michael Jourdain Jr. and a fantasy driver and the number 63 up on the outside. Jourdain holds on to his lead lap for now. Busch gets by the 63. A little bit of contact with Jourdain off of turn 4. Busch got quite a bit loose with that contact. Finally makes the pass to lap the 10 car. Haven't seen Brian Vickers through the field yet. We'll take our first field swap of the day, and we'll go to Brian Vickers in that 57 car right now. And he is in the 5th place position. Really got to catch anybody for another spot in front of him. John Hamilton in 6th place right behind him. Vickers is about 11.7 seconds off of race leader Kyle Busch. He drove away from John Hamilton, at least for right now. Kyle Busch is just about lapped inside the top 10. Already. He's getting crowded quite a bit right now by the car currently on his outside. They slammed door to door a couple corners ago. Busch is finally going to lap him. Brian Vickers now the last car on the lead, or actually no, that is Tony Raines in the 33, I believe. It's the next car in front of him, and then John Hamilton. So that's the 6th and 7th place race cars in front of Kyle Busch. And he's going to be looking to put a lap down here before long. And still haven't gotten to the halfway mark yet on fuel in this race. Busch scrapes the wall for the first time today. The exit of turn 2, maybe got back into the gas just a little bit too soon. Vickers still in 5th. of lap cars around him right now. I believe Eric Crocker would be the 4th place car in 4th position. Just trying to get into the top 5 in points. Had a win at Las Vegas earlier in the year. 3 wide with the lap cars around Vickers there. Making some passes. Way down on the apron through 3 and 4 as he is underneath of Crocker. And back to Kyle Busch we go as Vickers is going for 4th. And honestly, with another lap car in the way, I would like to think that Vickers is going to be able to make that pass eventually on Crocker if he hasn't already. Still about a 6.7 to 6.8 second lead over 2nd place. Kyle Busch runs really well. Oh, contact there. Tony Raines bump and run on John Hamilton, trying to pass him for 6th place. We're about to be racing for the free pass position because Kyle Busch is going to be there to lap the 120. Trying to get under the 33 next. We'll be able to do that. And we'll stay underneath them into 1 and 2. Just 5 cars on the lead lap here at the UPS Speedway. Omar, thanks for tuning in. This is not an actual racetrack, though. No, this is a fantasy track on the game. One of many. Oh, contact! A lot of lap cars getting together there. There were 3 wide into the corner, and Kyle Busch couldn't hold the bottom lane. We mentioned he was starting to get a little bit tighter as the run was carrying on. Caused for the contact to be made there. Break free. No lap cars between himself and the 33 car, who's a lap down now in 6th. Rick, thanks for tuning in. Thought for a minute there we were going to see our first caution of the race. Been a while since we've seen a caution on gameplay. You have to go back to our Talladega Championship race on NASCAR 6, which was on Monday last week, or Tuesday rather, last week. The last time that we had, or yeah, it was Monday. Monday last week. That was the last time that we had a caution. We had 7 of them in that race. We went caution-free in both races on Wednesday night in the Truck Series. And now we're almost 100 laps into this one without a yellow. Imagine with having 2 pit stops in this race, we're probably going to see at least 1 caution at some point. I guess Vickers still behind Crocker. Maybe he got around her and then she passed him back over the last few laps. They're both on the lead lap and about to go a lap down. Now Busch to the inside of his teammate. Just got passed by a lap car in the 119. Uses the 119 as a pick as well. Easily clears his teammate Brian Vickers. And once Eric Crocker goes a lap down, that's going to leave just 3 cars on the lead lap. An 8.5 second lead right now for Kyle Busch over 2nd place, who is likely Clint Boyer. Busch on the inside of the 6. gets it done. Wheel compatible NASCAR 14. I have no clue. I've never played any of the Technics games for NASCAR gaming, so I don't know the answer to that question, honestly. I know J.J. Yaley's 9:30 is already a lap down. I'll know who's in third once I catch him. Off the top of my head, I don't know who it would be. Contact there between Yaley and Busch. And more contact between the two. Corey Freed, also welcome into the stream. Kenny Wallace, by the way, would have been the third place race car. He just went a lap down at the hands of Kyle Busch that last lap. And is the car right in line behind Busch after finally getting by the lap cars that were slowing him down some, and has allowed for second place Clint Boyer to pull away from the 22. "100 laps complete at the UPS Speedway in race 1 of 2 of our doubleheader today. Our Bristol race will be up next for the Busch Series. Kyle Busch off to a good start on these half-mile short tracks today. Clearly having the fastest car after qualifying on the pole, getting to where he is at right now, leading the first 102 laps and counting in today's race. Dominating the race like he is dominating the season from a standing standpoint. It's not necessarily saying that he has dominated every race he's won, but he's leading a lot of laps, whether he gets wins or not, as he has led laps in all but 2 races of the 25 we've completed so far this season. Pretty impressive. Even for a Cup Series regular, dropping down a series and running full-time in that said series. Definitely learning how to drive the car as it has gotten a bit tighter over the course of the run. Got a lot of traffic around him right now. A little too much of the apron that time. He makes contact. It's scheduled to be a 2 pit stop race. Doesn't look like there's any way anybody's going to be able to make it on 1 stop. At least Kyle Busch won't be able to make it on 1 stop. I guess I can't say the same for everybody else. Has about a 13.5-second lead over Clint Boyer. I wish Craven's truck was this fast in our Truck Series race the other night, because I mean, we led the most laps, so we would have probably won no problem, not having to battle John Hamilton in the late laps. That was caution-free, and this one's been caution-free so far, and it is no contest. Definitely able to go further on fuel in this race versus the truck race the other night, where cars were able to go just over 100 laps on a full tank. Not even to a quarter tank of gas left, and we're at lap 115. Bump and run for the 10 car to get by the 21 for position, as they are both about to go 2 laps down now. If he can lap Boyer, that'd be huge for Kyle Busch already, even though we still have over 200 laps to go. Take a couple cautions just to get Boyer back into the thick of it. Boyer's got to be screaming for a yellow right now as well. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning into the stream. Busch underneath Boyer. Oh boy, there was some contact there. Both cars hang on to it. Boyer not going to give up that positioning very easy. Busch gets another run off turn 4 into 1. This time he got loose. They were 3 wide with the lap car still on the outside. That's what was making it tougher for Busch to try to make the pass on the 2, as he couldn't use any of those lappers as a pick. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in. Now he's caught behind another lap car, a bump from Kyle Busch, this time trying to move the 2 out of the way. And that allows him to use the lap car as a pick, and now he has a 1-lap lead on the field, 122 laps into the race. Utter domination from Kyle Busch in our first race of the day at the UPS Speedway. Contact there. I think those cars that were on the outside of Busch in the middle of the corner made contact with each other off the exit of turn 2 as well. See, if this was Bristol, we'd probably be seeing green flag pit stops right about now. Some more contact. And the reason why I say that is because we'd be about halfway through that race, being 100 laps shorter. Tell you what, if Kyle Busch has this strong of a car in both races, though, look out. Really loose that time on the bottom. His car wiggled, and then he overcorrected it a bit, and that's why it went as high up the track in the middle of the corner as it did, as he was behind the 119. Took him an extra lap, but he makes the pass on him. And a clean one at that, and now he closes quickly on the 18 of J.J. Yaley. Give him a little nudge going into turn 3. Kind of messed both cars up a little bit in the corner. If I'm not mistaken, if John Hamilton is still in 6th place, so that means everybody from 6th on back is 2 laps down, on top of the fact that Busch already has a 1-lap lead on the field. Sounds like we've got some cars hitting pit road. Not wanting to go all the way to the end of the run, and they're going to pit a little early. A lot of contact going on in turns 1 and 2. Not just between Kyle Busch and the 138. There were a couple cars in front of him making contact as well. Holding each other on a tight line in the corner. Definitely going to have to watch for cars coming in and off of pit road. Unlike Bristol, this is just one pit lane all the way around the inside of the racetrack. Brian Vickers is in the pits. Still likely in the top 5. There he goes. On his way in. Right in the middle of turns 1 and 2, they really tried to dive off to the bottom to get to pit road. More contact in turns 3 and 4. Just making a pass. Kyle's still planning on taking this run as far as he possibly can. He's got a 2-lap lead, a little contact. Couple cars side by side coming out of the pits as well. Oh, big checkup! And almost a wreck into turn 3. Busch gets into the back of the 56. So Boyer already making his pit stop. That is why it is a 2-lap lead on the field for Kyle Busch. Definitely going to be able to go over 150 laps on this opening fuel run for Kyle Busch. Fuel indicator hasn't gone completely red yet. Still got some lap cars pitting. Not everybody has made their stop, but most of them have. Kyle Busch has a 3-lap lead on the field as of right now because of everybody pitting. Already had a 1-lap lead over second place as it was. Again, it is definitely a 2-stop race, no matter how far Kyle Busch pushes it here. He'd have to make it 175 laps, which is not going to be possible for one fuel run. That'd be the only way he could have made it on one stop. He just completed 150 laps at the start-finish line that last time by. He'll stay out at least a few more here, and then he'll end up hitting pit road within the next couple laps. It'll be a 4-tire stop, no adjustments on the game plan here for Busch. So Busch's plan is to pit at lap 155. So lap 155, Busch will be on his way in. He's got another mile yet. 2 more laps. Tony Rain's giving up a lot of bottom for Busch to get to the inside. Even with these other cars on fresher tires, Kyle Busch is still pacing very, very well. To the inside of Casey Kane. Busch will pit this time. Works his way onto pit road, 4 tires and fuel, and he is in. No adjustments for Kyle Busch. Car is bad fast here this afternoon. And there goes the Mr. Clean crew to work on this number 5 car. Should easily come out with the lead. Should still be a lap ahead of everybody too, because he had a pretty good pace. Even on those older tires. Oh, comes out of the pits a little hot. He's going to be stuck on the outside lane. Really the first time today that that's the case. Thought he had a hole to get to the bottom. Not quite. Now he does, right in front of his teammate Brian Vickers. So we've cycled through green flag pit stop. Still no caution. A little less than 200 laps to go. Not quite halfway. And one more set of pit stops still to go for everybody in the field. I'm sure we'll see cars pit as soon as that window opens to the end of the race. Another 50 to 75 laps or so. Now it's chilling time. Yeah, pretty much. This is as good of a race as Kyle Busch could have asked for so far. He's got a chance to lead every lap today, too. We haven't really talked about up to this point. But it is looking more and more likely as he holds on to this pretty ginormous lead. Yeah, I don't really have much input for the commentary side of things for this race, so sorry if there's a little bit of dull moments, but this has been a complete obliteration from Kyle Busch. Be halfway home in about 3 more laps. This first race. It's kind of long for a Busch Series race, but not quite long enough to be considered a Cup Series race length. 400 to 500 laps, I would have maybe considered it a little more, but not quite to that length. And because Kyle Busch has led every lap so far, he'll clinch the most laps led as soon as he leads this next lap at the line. Nobody else getting any bonus points for position behind him as well. We saw Ricky Craven go wire to wire in our first Busch Series race of our doubleheader on Wednesday night. A chance for Kyle Busch to do the same thing in this Busch Series race today. For the first time this season. So there it is. 10 bonus points already locked in for Busch. No matter what happens the rest of the race. Again, anything could still happen. Excuse me. I didn't have any sort of time to try to mute the mic there. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. We know Kyle Busch was able to go 155 laps on his first fuel run, so ideally he only has to go about another 10 laps and his pit window will open up to make it off field to the end of the race. I plan on seeing him pit quite that early, but I'm not... I should say I'm pretty in on the strategy on trying to short pit, not taking the run quite as long, knowing we do have a 1-lap stranglehold over the field right now. Likelihood of Kyle Busch pitting and still cycling out with the lead is pretty high. I'm glad I cleared the 32. He pulled down to the bottom as soon as he possibly could behind Kyle Busch. Busch got tight at the same time. Right in the middle of the corner. And a lot of traffic around him. That could have been ugly. .2 second lead, or second lap. I'm not sure what our fastest lap of the day is. Probably a 15.1. I don't think we've gotten into the 14s. Kind of wish this was the Truck Series Race Link just to get this race over with, but we're still going to have about 150 to go. It's going to be tough for Kyle Busch to lose this race. Real good, kid. Thanks for tuning in. I got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl today. I don't have a score predicted, but I've got the Eagles winning. On my parlay, I have them winning by covering a spread of 3.5, so I have them winning by at least 4. I could see like a 31-27 kind of score somewhere around there. .420 maybe. I mean, at least Mahomes has had an extra week to have that ankle heal. That's got to be helpful. I don't think he's going to be 100% still, but I think he'll be a little bit more mobile. Can't hurt having that extra week off, I'll tell you that much. I believe Aaron Crocker is in 4th place. Potentially 3rd, because we did pass Kenny Wallace already. So I think actually she is up to 3rd place. Kenny is back to 4th. They're both 2 laps down, though, so the only car that's 1 lap down is the 2nd place car of Clinton Boyer. So Busch almost has the field 2 laps down, although Boyer quite a ways ahead of those 2nd and 3rd place cars. It's tough to get back on the lead lap when you fall 2 laps down, though. That's only going to maybe further solidify Kyle Busch's chances of winning this race, even though it pretty much looked all but over. Really, since right before we got into those green flag pit stops about 50 laps ago. 50 laps ago for Busch, really. Everybody else pitted about 70 laps ago now. The widest Busch holds his car down on the bottom. The 21 going to clear as they merge off of turn 2. Yeah, the only thing that scares me with picking the Eagles, honestly, for the Super Bowl is just because of how good Kansas City's offense is. I feel like the Eagles can match that, and I think the Eagles have a better defense overall, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Philly. I think the Niners game could have been closer if Purdy would have, been able to actually throw the ball. Unfortunately, couldn't with that injury he had very early in the game, too. I think it was in the first half when he got hurt. And there were turnovers, obviously, after the fact that kind of led to short fields for Philly where they were able to put up more points. I think overall would have been more of a low-scoring game because it kind of started off that way. Big battle for field position. Got some cars hitting pit road over the last couple laps, so the window is open to make it on fuel to the end of the race. Having quite a few drivers make that second pit stop. Very risky to do on a short track. They're already well off the lead, so it's more just in the battling for positions around them in the running order. For those that are pitting. I know at least that Clint Boyer has stayed out this far. Busch held his own pretty well on older tires compared to those who had pitted before him because he was the last car to make his first stop. Still seem to be putting time on the field, just not as much time. So I'd like to think it's probably not going to be too big of a worry this time around either. You can see Clint Boyer just a few cars ahead of Kyle Busch. About to go a second lap down, and he has not pitted yet. Neither has Busch, so it's going to be 2 full laps. Busch backed off a little bit. He was pretty close behind the 82 car. Kind of made contact with him off the exit of the corner before. Wanted to make sure he wasn't going to make contact again going into 3 that last lap. Oh, never mind. They made contact a couple laps after the fact anyway. Two had a little bit of a battle the last time they were near each other. Let's see how hard Clint Boyer may try to fend off Kyle Busch right now. Busch got off turn 4 really well there. The 2 is wiggling quite a bit, and they do lean on each other a little bit. So Kyle Busch is now going to put Boyer a second lap down. No chance for Boyer to get back under. Busch has held the inside pretty well all day today. Now that Busch does have a 2-lap stranglehold on the field now, may consider short pitting, making that final stop at some point in the near future. Probably give it a few more laps. Could help his teammate Brian Vickers out a little bit more too, because Vickers is about to go 3 laps down. Despite the fact he is inside the top 10 and has been the whole race after qualifying in 3rd. Busch laps him. honestly may just consider running this out a little bit more. I mean, the more I think about it, just in case we were to get a caution. Don't even want to give one lap back up again before that could possibly take place. Contact between the 112 and the 64. Still a little bit over 100 laps to go. Mark DeMars, thanks for tuning in. Well, it's only race number 1. You haven't missed much. Kyle Busch has led every lap from the pole and has a 2-lap lead on the field. We've had quite a few drivers, maybe a little less than half the field has already made their second and final stop as soon as that window opened at the end of the race about 20 to 30 laps ago. But Kyle Busch is definitely setting sail right now. Trying to go wire to wire for the first time in the Busch Series season this year. We saw Ricky Craven do it in the trucks on Wednesday night. Halfway out of gas right now for Kyle Busch. 115 laps to go exactly. He crossed the stripe that last time. Again, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. R6, welcome into the stream. Three wide and a lot of contact there. Everybody hangs on. Still caution free. I think we've had a couple caution-free Busch Series races this season. What's the streaming schedule for this week? So plan on doing some NASCAR 6 tomorrow. I'm not sure what yet. I don't know if I'm going to do maybe a truck doubleheader or... I know the next truck race is at Bristol, but then I think Old Spice Speedway's after that, which is a longer race, and then Milwaukee's kind of a longer race in the Busch Series, so I'm not exactly sure what NASCAR 6 race I'm going to do yet. More than likely, it's going to be Milwaukee in the Busch Series. And then on Tuesday night, we'll do NASCAR 22, and we will start our second and final season of that game, as we'll do the Daytona 500, with it being Speed Week, I guess, this week for the NASCAR World at Daytona. So we'll do a virtual Daytona 500 that night. Oh, we got trouble! Right in front of Kyle Busch, no caution. We stay green. Car got sideways with no contact. Drifted way up the track into the wall. And I think the wall kind of straightened him out a little bit. No caution there, though, right in front of the race leader. That's one thing you don't want to have happen when you've got this big of a stranglehold on the field. And nearly saw that all get wiped away in a hurry. True Assassin, thanks for tuning in. So anyway, NASCAR 22 Daytona 500, and then we'll be doing live commentary streams Wednesday through Sunday for Speed Weeks. Now we got a car blowing an engine right in front of Kyle Busch, and he's got to get out of the way as that lap car's trying to get down into the pits. He just missed pit road. Now he's going to have to go all the way around the track another lap. 99 laps left in this race. Right, post the polls. No, I actually know who I'm going to race as for that season, so there won't be any polls for that second season of NASCAR 22 like there was the first season. 184 still trying to make it into the pits off turn 2. He should be able to get in this time, and we continue to stay green. There's been a little bit of near problems around Kyle Busch here over the last handful of laps. Car get really loose right in front of him, and then we blew an engine right in front of him. Took it off both cars though. Communist Lego 6 for tuning in. Made me laugh and I coughed at the same time. That kind of hurt. Very competitive race. Or a lack thereof, but yeah. Kyle Busch is as fast today as he was leaving the Mexican border with a handgun. That would be freaky fast. Or I guess as his middle name states, frickin' fast. KFB. Almost got the wall off turn 2. He made contact with the 139. Trying to cross him back over to get back down to the inside after overdriving the corner the lap before in turns 1 and 2. Got 18 people watching. Sorry for a race that isn't very, maybe entertaining. I guess we haven't had a caution. Got a 2-lap lead on the field. It has been a blowout. We do have a second race coming up at Bristol after this on this stream, so you don't want to go anywhere. We got 90 laps to go in this one. That'll tick by pretty quickly. We got about 15-second lap times at this half-mile short track. Then we'll be headed to Bristol. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in. Wednesday night Daytona 500 qualifying. Yep. Again, I will be doing live commentary for that on Wednesday night, so you can tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night on the channel, I'll be doing live commentary for the Daytona 500. I was getting into it. Earl asked in the chat earlier for what the streaming schedule is the rest of the week. So, again, we'll have NASCAR 6 Busch Series at Milwaukee tomorrow night. Tuesday night, NASCAR 22 on the channel. We'll start our Daytona 500 for that second and final season there. And then live commentary streams through the rest of the week. I am not going to Daytona as originally planned throughout the course of the off-season. Late decision for me not to go, so we'll be doing some live commentary streams all week. Again, I'll be doing live commentary every Truck Xfinity Cup race I don't go to in person. Cup has some extra races this week with the duels at Daytona. And because it's the Daytona 500 this week, I'll actually be doing live commentary for qualifying as well. Speedy Gonzalez is pretty fast. But in this race specifically, I'd like to say Kyle Busch is still faster. So yeah, the live commentary schedule, I believe it'd be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesday night for qualifying for the Daytona 500. And then on Thursday night, it'll be a live stream starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the dual races at Daytona. Our Truck Series race live commentary stream will be 7:30, I believe, on Friday night. Saturday afternoon, I'll be doing 2 live streams. I'll be doing the ARCA race commentary. I don't plan on doing the ARCA races really this season. A lot of them conflict with the Truck and the Xfinity schedule, but at Daytona specifically this week, with it being, Speed Week, biggest week of the NASCAR season, figured I'd do ARCA this week. So 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, I'll be doing ARCA. Xfinity Live commentary will be Saturday evening at 5. And then 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing live commentary for the Daytona 500 on Sunday. So a lot of live commentary streams this week for the actual racing that we'll be seeing all throughout the course of the week. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Wish I was there in person, but the next best place to be is right here with you guys on the channel, and it's a pretty close second, honestly. Crocker just pitted. I think Boyer pitted within the lap or two before that, so now Kyle Busch is 3 laps ahead of the field, but he still has to make his second and final stop. Probably get to right around 40 to 50 laps to go before having to pit. And if he is the last to hit pit road once again, he's going to end up having about a 4-lap lead on the field. Just saw Boyer cycle off of pit road. Brian Vickers is in the pits right now in the 57. Busch's car's been really loose over the last few laps. Starts to get too bad, we can always pit early. It's massive lead, 75 laps to go. Not going to have to go anywhere near as far as these first 2 runs he has had on the set of tires that he has ran on so far today. Big 350 more laps added onto the laps led already on the season for Kyle Busch. Going wire to wire, and who's to say he won't lead a lot more at Bristol, which is a very similar racetrack to this. And I believe he won the first Bristol race earlier this season. Well, you're stuck on the outside. Lap car coming out of the pits. Busch going to get underneath the 2 now. Using another lap car as a pick, and that's going to put Kyle Busch 4 laps ahead of second place Clint Boyer. Boyer should get 2 of those laps back once Kyle Busch pits for 4 tires and fuel, but make that 5 laps. I guess somebody else stayed out a little longer on fuel trying to catch a yellow to get in front of Boyer by a lap. Didn't work. Excited about Natalie Decker? Not really. I don't know really what's there to be excited about Natalie Decker in the Xfinity Series. I've seen her there before. She hasn't really performed well. I mean, good for her. I'm not like anybody who can, race. It's more races than I've ever been in a stock car at a NASCAR level. So kudos to them for making it that far. But, yeah, it's not. I don't know about exciting. Probably gonna see her run 30th most weekends. I mean, the next biggest question is, will this race go caution-free? Because if it does, then that means we're going to have 550 laps worth of racing at the UPS Speedway without a caution between the Truck Series race on Wednesday night and our Busch Series race today. Which is absolutely insane. That could be the case, and the fact that it's over 2 separate races probably makes it even more difficult than if it was just one long continuous race. Derek Booth, thanks for tuning in. I think right before Kyle Busch gets into that next big wave of lap traffic, he's going to just short pit, make that final stop. And even though I say it's short pitting because he's not going to take the run all the way to the end of the field run, he doesn't have to. You see the margin of lead. He'll lose 2 of those laps once he pits. How do you pick your fantasy driver lineup? Well, it's not going to be available until after the dual races on Thursday. And I haven't really looked at the rules to see if it's going to be the same exact like the setup as last year. I would imagine it's going to be, because last year's setup was pretty much how it's been the last 3 or 4 years I played on it. I played on it even before started the channel, or started the Fantasy League a couple seasons ago for the channel. So you'll just have 5 drivers in your starting lineup, then you'll have a driver in what most fantasy leagues is a bench, but NASCAR just call it your garage. And you have until the end of stage 2 to swap out who you want your starting 5 to be. So if somebody gets in an early wreck or has a mechanical issue of some sort, then you can take them out if you don't think they're going to have a good finish, or maybe didn't score a lot of stage points. And you can only pick the same driver 10 times throughout the course of the season, so you have to pick wisely every week as to who you want. What a day for Kyle Busch, 1 lap away from lap 300. Trying to go wire to wire in a caution-free race today at the UPS Speedway. Oh, we've got a crash. Caution's out. Big wreck in turns 1 and 2. And after 300 laps out of 350, we finally see our first caution. And it was right behind Kyle Busch. Lap car got turned, came back across the track. A couple other cars collected. Clint Boyer barely missed. One car into the barrels at the front of pit road entrance, or exit, I should say. 131, the 116 involved. 116 was the car that went down into the barrels. And Kyle Busch will get the pit under caution. This is going to end up trapping a couple cars, or I should say cars a couple more laps down, because Busch had a 5-lap lead on the field when that caution flag came out. 5-lap lead secured, yeah. It was going to be back to 2 to 3-lap lead once we pitted. Guess it's a good thing I stayed out as long as I did. No pressure on this stop for the Mr. Clean crew. Gonna pause it for a quick second. Here we go. And we'll get to the end of this race. And then on with race 2. All the lap cars on the inside of Kyle Busch for the restart. He's the only car in the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. We're going to get one of his laps back on the restart, having that inside lane. 3 wide. Busch up against the wall trying to stay off of everybody, and he still had contact with Kenny Wallace. Kyle Busch just getting freight trained right now. Can't get to the bottom even though he's got fresher tires. Finally gets to the inside. Contact with the 133 of Trigger. More contact. Trouble. Busch is around. Well, that got a lap back for everybody that was in front of him, and now caution's out for the second time. They're 3 wide off the exit of turn 2. Just got into the wall. I don't know if this is going to get them another lap back with us getting involved in the yellow or not. Can't pit for fuel or tires, bringing out the caution flag there that time. So we went 300 laps out of 350 without a caution. Then we get 2 cautions back to back in the late going of the race. Can lock up the championship at Bristol by win. Lead the most laps if Boyer finishes 13th or worse. I don't think I have a chance to win the championship in the next race. I'll have to look again. I'll have to get my phone again, actually. Middle of both races. I don't think it's possible for me to win the championship, though. More than likely. Green flag back in the air, and here we go. Another lap back for Boyer and Trocker. Busch gets to the bottom a lot sooner than he did the last time. 40 laps to go. It was a 5-lap lead, now it's a 3-lap lead. Boyer hoping for another quick caution. Sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. Busch just ran his fastest lap of the day, 15.152 that last lap. .121, slides the front tires going into turn 1. Locked them up a little bit as he got into the brakes, maybe a little too deep. Boyer's trying to hang on, and Boyer's got clean air in front of him. The last couple times Busch was able to lap him on the track, it was because he was able to kind of pinch Boyer off behind some other lap cars. .936 point lead. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like 900 something. That's why I wasn't even really worried about keeping track of that in this race, or in either race today. Unless we had a couple DNFs, I don't think it was going to be possible anyway. Gonna have quite a few drivers eliminated from contention, though, after today's races. Not that much of them outside of Busch has a chance, but... I mean, Eric Crocker's 4th in points, but she's 100 or 805 out. Absolutely insane. Kyle Busch not really able to get super close to Clint Boyer right now. Boyer hoping for more repetitive cautions to come out. Busch so close to getting underneath him that time off of turn 4. Busch maybe being a little bit patient with the 2, though, knowing that he has this big of a lead. Doesn't want to potentially get involved in any sort of an accident because we don't know how aggressive Boyd will be to try to hang on to this lap. Just trying to arc the corner off a lot more that time. That doesn't really work. Busch finally gets by Bowyer, puts him 4 laps down again. 26 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. It was nice seeing that 5-lap lead when it was with the number 5 car. But I guess the next best thing is a 4-lap lead and still looking at trying to lead every lap in today's race, which is just 25 laps away from happening. 2 late cautions in this one. The only 2 cautions in the race. We'll go on to Bristol, trying to look for the sweep and a track that Kyle Busch is very familiar with victory lane at. I think he's won there, what, like over 20 times across all 3 series in NASCAR? It's ridiculous. Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. And he's even won there on dirt once, too, last season. Can't keep Kyle Busch out of victory lane at Bristol. Even if you reconfigure it. To go next time by. It's just getting into lap traffic. First time since the most recent restart. This will be win number 11 on the season for Busch. Like already mentioned, this is going to be very, very close to maybe the most dominant season that we have seen all time in the NASCAR Busch Series. Needs somebody to look up the record for who's got the best average finish in Xfinity Series history. I'm very curious. A lot of contact, 3 wide there. I say that because there was a 5.3 average finish coming into both races today, and this win is going to knock it right around a 5.0, honestly. Maybe even just below it. We still have one more race today on another half-mile short track similar. in shape and style of racing as this one. A little bit more banked, a little tighter, and on concrete versus this track on asphalt. 11 to go. A couple more minutes away from victory here for Kyle Busch. Now we're at 10 to go. It wasn't a caution-free race, but pretty darn close. Kyle Busch will go wire to wire in his first race of the year. Like there was some trouble. You can see some skid marks going towards the wall at turns 3 and 4. No caution flag came out. There was a lot of smoke still left over from the lap before by whoever got into the wall. Smoke is still there too. Finally dissipating. 7 laps left. .6 by Kevin Harvick in 2006, so that's what we're going for. It's gonna be close. It's obtainable. That's insane though. Did he run every race that year? 4.6. I mean, he won the championship. I'd assume he ran every race. 4 to go. Now we're not going to end up running this full season. Whenever we clinch the championship early, assuming we still do so, which is more than likely going to happen, then that would be the final race. So we only really have a couple races to get this down to a 4.6. Because there's a chance we might be able to clinch at Milwaukee tomorrow night. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Ran all 35 races. And the Cup schedule. Checker flag in the air. Kyle Busch will lead all 350 and get the win today at the UPS Speedway. I'll tell you what, if anybody could go wire to wire in a Busch Series race, you would have to believe it'd be this man, Rowdy Busch. As he is the winner in our first race of our doubleheader on the Super Bowl Sunday. Can't even see the car. A lot of smoke. A little short and sweet burnout there for Busch. Take a look at the official race results. There you see all 400 laps, or all 350 laps led. It says 4 lead changes. Obviously that didn't happen. Kyle Busch led every lap. Margin of victory, 4-lap lead. Now the field did get lapped a few extra laps down to caution before Busch made his final stop. So probably would have won by anywhere between 2 to 3 laps, but still would have dominated. And it wasn't because of what you would see in NASCAR 22, which would be any sort of like race glitches with scoring glitches, depending on where the leader is versus the rest of the field if the caution comes out. 114.74 miles per hour average race speed, total race time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, 32 seconds. And again, 2 cautions for 6 caution laps. Kyle Busch with the win. Clint Boyer started second, finishes second. Eric Crocker started 4th, finishes 3rd. Kenny Wallace finishes 4th after starting 23rd. And Brian Vickers rounds out the top 5 in 5th place after starting 3rd. John Hamilton 6th, Tony Raines 7th, Luke Trigger in 8th. Irvin 9th, and then Bobby Labonte rounds out the top 10. Labonte finished 10th, 7 laps down. Jourdain 8 laps down in 11th. It's wild. We only had a couple DNFs. 2 cautions in this race. Johnson blew an engine and Clark blew an engine. That's it. 41st finished the race with 12 laps down. That was his pace. Unbelievable. Busch with his 11th win of the season now. And that will be top 5, number 19, and his 23rd top 10 of the season. And the Sharpie Professional 250 at Bristol will be coming up next. Take a look at the point standings updated just before we go into that race. I'll also update the point standings at the top of the screen before we get going into race 2 today. Over 1,800 laps led for Kyle Busch this season now, so he's got a chance to lead 2,000 laps through 27 races if he does lead 139 laps or more in the second race today at Bristol, which is a little over half the race. But if he had the speed he did in that first race, he definitely will be able to do so. 543-point lead over Clint Bowyer. Bowyer slowly widening that gap out over Vickers. For second, he is over 100 points ahead of him. Vickers did just have a top 5, too. No laps led for either driver in that race. Crocker, 830 back after a top 5 as well today. But yeah, there's a good chance that only the top 5 are going to be mathematically in the title hunt going into the final 6 races of the season after the Bristol race coming up on this stream. I believe Bobby Labonte's eliminated from contention. Actually, there's a good chance that John Hamilton and Morgan Irvin are also eliminated. I don't want to get my phone out to have to do the math, though. Oh, shoot. I was going to update the points at the top of the screen. Alright. So, we'll take a tiny bit of a break without actually going anywhere here. I'll update the points at the top. Update our average finish. Following this race, I believe that is the most laps led in a race this year for Kyle Busch. By far. We haven't even led 200 laps in a race this year. We led 350 in that one. Most laps we led in a single race before that was 180 out of 200, or sorry, 188 at Bristol. So yeah, Kyle Busch did really good. The first Bristol race, we led 188 laps, finished first. That was Busch's first win of the season. That was at night. This is going to be the day Bristol race. And we'll have to see how good Kyle Busch will do this time around. We'll get this race underway. And I didn't even update the points at the top of the screen. Gosh darn it. Never mind on that. Oh, wait. Hey, hang on. They're right there. I go back and look at that. Thank God it was on the loading screen. We will qualify for this race. Busch has 11 wins. So now we just got to get the average finish, and then we'll get right into qualifying. Get that updated. Billy Kramer, welcome into the stream. Alrighty. Oh, I didn't realize I still had the camera off. Hang on. There we go. There I am. There I am. Gotta go back to back. I hope so. Alrighty. One of which was under Cross 3 National Turn 2. Kyle Busch has 23 wins at Bristol. Yeah, crazy. I thought he had over 20. Don't remember that when I went to Dirt Bristol last year and he won. I thought I heard that in the victory. Or some, maybe not in victory lane, but at some point they were talking about him after the race. The loudspeakers. Alrighty. So, working on getting the average finish up because I'm curious to see where that's at before this race starts. I'll do this again at the end also. 17 plus 2. 17-2. A lot of single-digit finishes, I'll tell you that much. We've only finished outside the top 10 3 times all season. 26 races. Average finish of a 5.1. So with the win, it went from a 5.3 to a 5.1. So if we win this race, it will definitely get down to 5.0. Texting somebody real quick. Kyle Busch very good at Bristol. Yes, he is. I think very good is an understatement. He's a god at Bristol. I'm just gonna have a similar setup to what I had at the UPS Speedway. If I have to adjust that going into the race from qualifying, I will. On to qualifying. Sorry for the little bit of a wait there during the race break. But on to race 2. Another half-mile short track. This one, my personal favorite, Bristol Motor Speedway. So used to the last track, this track feels a lot more narrow. Almost not perfect on both ends of the racetrack there. 9th on lap 1. He's going to have to pick up quite a bit. We're really going to have to try to force this car down to the bottom of the track a little more. Car got a little bit light off of turn 2. Air loose a lot better for 3 and 4, though, on the stability standpoint. And that will be a pole. He picked up a lot from lap 1 to lap 2, a 15.257. And Busch got the pole, it looked like, by about 0.2 of a second over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Notorious 6 for tuning in. Did it for Kyle there. Martin Truex Jr., sorry, not Dale Earnhardt Jr. starting second. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Bristol. Clint Boyer in the 2 car up on the outside. Truex with a good start on that outside lane right now. A lot of contact between Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, and a lot of contact on the bottom as well. And Tony Stewart goes up the middle to lead lap 1. Truex almost gets turned by the 2 car of Clint Boyer. Busch ended up in the wall in turns 1 and 2. What a crazy opening lap. Tony Stewart gets to the lead. Shane Meal to second. Kyle Busch back to third. Boyer right where he started in 4th. And Tony Stewart, who didn't even race the first race. Tony Raines was in that 33 car, but Tony Stewart leads the opening lap. I don't even know where Martin Truex Jr. fell to. About to say the car was feeling a little tight when it was under Truex, then we got into him, and that just set off a whole chain reaction of events after the fact. Busch to the inside of Shane Meal for second place. Meal wiggles in the outside lane. Kyle Busch going to clear him. Well, Busch will not go wire to wire at both races today. Tony Stewart has led the first 7 laps. It was a hair-raising moment there. Our average finish just about flashed right before our eyes in the opening lap of the race. Kyle Busch to the inside of Tony Stewart. Clear off turn 4. Busch to the lead for the first time. 2 lead changes in the early going of the race. Stewart led the first 9 laps, and then lap 10 was led by pole sitter Kyle Busch. Tony Stewart, despite qualifying 3rd, led that first lap. Clean air in front of the 5 for now. Change through the alternating camera angles. like Shane Meal is running down Tony Stewart. Stewart took off well on the short run, evading any sort of contact on the opening lap. With all the mayhem we saw, the very front of the field, with multiple cars getting together, getting into the wall. But now he is definitely fading early in this run. After leading the first 9 laps. Looks like Clint Boyer starting to catch up to the 33, 32 as well in front of him in 4th. At least of all drivers to lead a lap, it was a guy that is running part-time in the Busch Series and full-time in the Cup. So not in the hunt for the championship whatsoever. Curious to see how lap traffic's going to be when we get there, knowing how crazy it was in the opening lap with everybody bunched 2 by 2 through the field. As well as restarts in the race today, especially assuming we'll have cars a lap down if we have long enough green flag runs. Shane Meal is in 2nd right now as well. 1.3 seconds off the race lead. Stewart still sitting in 3rd in front of Clint Boyer. .8-second lead when he got to lap traffic at the UPS Speedway at about lap 30. He had a 4.5-second lead, but in this case, still doesn't even quite have a 2-second lead, and he's probably only a few laps away from catching his first lap car of the race. Of course, Busch led every lap, though, in that last race, so he got off to a much quicker start than he did today in race number 2. First lap car gets a nudge from Kyle Busch. Busch will complete the pass through 1 and 2. Already kind of imagine it is not going to be an easy day getting through lap traffic for Kyle Busch. Doesn't have to be great getting through the lap traffic, just has to be better than everybody else behind him. Having a little bit of a gap definitely helps. We'll go to Brian Vickers. I want to see where the 57 car is right now. He is in 7th place. Not sure exactly where he started, but he did start inside the top 10. Just completely missed that corner. Overdrove it and up into the wall off turn 2. Vickers' car a lot more loose than Busch. Busch's car a little more on the snug side. Full bar, thanks for tuning in. Pretty much a one-groove racetrack at Bristol. Really is no inside-outside lanes like there is now. It's just all around the bottom. This car is just very tight in the center of the corner. Clean air car is definitely quick, handles really well. These long runs are going to be a struggle for Kyle Busch today. Really knocks him out of a rhythm when he's trying to pass a car too. Contact 108 car. Well, juniors side by side. Michael Jourdain Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr. Last two cars on the lead lap. 50 laps in, caution free so far at Bristol. We went 300 laps for our first caution at UPS Speedway earlier. We had two cautions back to back in those final 50 laps. Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to go a lap down. He got really loose in the middle of the corner and almost clipped the 5 of Busch who was on his inside. That would have been a dangerous area to make contact around Busch's car in that right rear corner panel area, which is where the front bumper was beginning to align with when Junior still got loose. A lot of bottom open there, but Kyle's car really wants to float towards the outside in the middle of the corner. like the race got rained out. Saturday morning / afternoon race, yeah. Kind of. Does feel that way a little bit. Be interesting if this is going to be a one-stop race today or if it's going to be a two-stop race. Fuel window is going to be anything like the first race was. We're probably looking at one stop. Got a car blowing up on the inside of the track trying to get into the pit lane. Not sure if he's pitted on the front stretch or the back stretch with two separate pit lanes at the Bristol Motor Speedway. The 135 car done for the day. E5 really getting an update? Just trolling. I have no clue, honestly. I don't really keep up with it too much. Talk about like a 2023 update or... I have zero idea. I don't really look too much into the NASCAR video gaming news too much. Six more cars lined up right in front, make that seven. Seven cars lined up right in front of Kyle Busch, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap with just a couple cars kind of scattered in there. The field may start to widen out a little bit more, and that could be at the point in time where Busch tries to open this lead up a little bit, because it's been between 2 and 2.5 seconds for about 20 to 30 laps now in the middle of lap traffic. Busch is not really able to pull away anymore, but really fluctuates. About a couple laps where he's a couple tenths slower, a couple tenths quicker. Easy for that to happen when you're on a short track, I guess, in some pretty heavy lap traffic. A lot of contact there off of turn 2. That's going to cost Kyle Busch quite a bit. Oh, now there's a gap in front of him. No caution, though. We stayed green. I thought he was going to get turned. The way he got up into the wall with the car on his outside. Lead down to 1.9 seconds, but there's some open room for Busch to be able to run now. So we'll see if he can open this lead back up. He didn't take too hard of a hit there. Nice to have clean air in front of the 5 again. I think down to about 2.1 seconds. Don't know how that didn't cause an accident, but it didn't. Still caution free. And by the way, it is going to easily be a one-stop race today. Already completed 75 laps. Haven't even hit halfway out of gas yet. Yeah, if we're involved in any sort of a caution, again, we can't pit for fuel or tires, but we have to pit, so we would have been at the tail end of the lead lap if a caution would have came out there, and it has not been an easy day for Kyle Busch in traffic, hence the reason why there was contact with the lap car. It does seem as if everybody's kind of running the same way. Kind of floating around in the middle of the corner. It's really tough for everybody to stay on the bottom all the way through the corner. Cars are moving around a lot. It's probably why we've seen quite a bit of contact in the early going of this race compared to the first doubleheader race. And a little bit wider of a track, at least when it came to middle of the corners. Really on the straightaways too. This is a lot more narrow. Honestly, didn't realize how much more narrow it was until we raced these races back to back. Making Bristol a little bit more challenging. A lot harder to run side by side. Where's the move over flag when you need it, really? I wish people actually abided by those rules 100% of the time, but that's not the case in stock car racing. It's kind of difficult on a short track too, though. I don't think the AI in any NASCAR video game ever abides by the blue flag with the yellow stripe going through the middle of it. Kyle Busch likes to call that flag the "get out of my effing way" flag. I feel like that's something he would actually say over the radio, too. Making another pass for position. Or not for position, but to put another car lap down. Side of the 116. He was involved in the first out of 2 cautions in that first race today. Doesn't feel like we've been streaming for over 2 hours already. 15.199 that last lap, fastest of the day for Kyle Busch. Oh, little contact. Got some cars hitting pit road right now as well, as the fuel window seems to be open. The drivers that make it to the end of the race. A lot of contact right in front of Busch. Cars at the tail end of the lead lap. 2-second lead now. Right front and the yellow in the tire wear indicator right now for Busch. Vickers has stayed on the racetrack. Almost 100 laps complete. Taking 2 tires a good idea here? Probably not. We've got the Mr. Clean crew in hand for this race, so I'll trust them making a clean 4-tire stop. I do understand what you mean by that, though, because there is a risk of when you do pit of getting trapped a couple laps down if we get a caution. We had a caution in the middle of green flag stops in the last race, which trapped the field a couple extra laps down. Luckily, Busch was able to stay out long enough. Not sure if that'll be the same case here or not. 100 laps in, we are caution-free so far through the Sharpie Professional 250 at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Take our second and final field pass of the race right now. We'll go back to Brian Vickers. He's still in 7th place, right where we left off with him. A lap car into turns 3 and 4. So Brian Vickers still has to make his pit stop yet as well. Closing in on Casey Kane. I'm not sure if that was for position or not. Kind of wild to think, though, that if I were to take 2 tires, we'd have to go all 250 laps of this race on the same left side tires, with it being a 1-stop race. I don't really like that idea too much. The lead, by the way, has been cut down to about 1.5 seconds. Been as high as about a 2.8 to 2.9 second lead. Being trimmed down a little bit. That's even with clean air for the 5 car right now as well. Quarter tank of gas left at this point in the run. About 10 laps shy of the halfway mark. Or maybe a dozen cars, give or take, that hit pit road. I'd guarantee at least 25 to 30 more that still have to pit. Another car is just blowing a motor down on the bottom of the track. Looks to be another fantasy driver. I know it was a 135 earlier. I'm not sure who that may have been. The second driver to DNF in today's race. So again, the point standings you see at the top of the screen are updated after the first race. So those are the exact point standings coming into race 2. Right side tires in the yellow on the tire wear indicator. It's juncture of the run. Busch still hanging on strong. Oh, 108 pops off the wall off of turn 2 on the outside of Kyle Busch there. Got back in line right behind Busch, though. Didn't lose any positions. Just lost his lap. Which he was probably going to anyway. Contact with the 117. He was the first car, I believe, to go a lap down at the very beginning of the race. Just over 30 laps in. Combining the truck and the Busch Series races, this could be the 4th consecutive race in which we don't see a caution in the first half of the race, assuming we stay green for at least 2 more laps. 2 of those previous 3 went caution-free, which again were both truck races, and both on short tracks, and even the first race today on a short track as well. We'll be halfway at the start-finish line this time by. Remember, Kyle Busch had to lead 139 laps or more in today's race to eclipse 2,000 laps led in the season through our first 27 races. We are halfway home at the line. He has led the most laps in this race. And he has led all but 9 laps, so he's very close to clinching the most laps led. Get to 2,000 laps led. If he leads now to lap 148, or through lap 148, he will have eclipsed 2,000 laps led. So he has to lead for 20 more laps as of where we're at right now. You would think he should be able to do it. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that or not before he has to pit, though. It'll be interesting to see if he'll cycle back to the lead, because there were quite a few cars that pitted already, but I'm not sure how many of them towards the front of the field may have pit. Crew chief just telling Kyle Busch he's got about 1/8 of a tank of fuel left at this point in the run, so we're getting pretty close. So again, a lot of these guys try not to short pit. It's a much more competitive race here in race 2 versus race 1. We saw a lot of guys short pitting because they really weren't racing Kyle Busch anymore. Just more worried about the battles at hand. If you do pit before Kyle Busch and you're within a couple seconds behind him, that could be a huge capitalization if we do stay green all the way through pit stops. But if we get a caution, it's going to be heartbreaking. You're going to be a lap or 2 down. You'll probably be stuck there the rest of the race. When these laps at Bristol tick by pretty quickly, and we're already closing in on 100 to go here shortly. Busch led 188 laps in the first Bristol race under the lights and won that one. His first win of the year. He's got 11 wins now on the season. And Kyle Busch has now just clinched the most laps led. So he'll get 10 bonus points in each of the 2 races today. On the inside of J.J. Yaley. Slides it off into 3 and 4, trying to make sure he was going to have that 184 car cleared as soon as possible, and did. Clean air temporarily on the front of the 5 again. Yeah, the NASCAR heat games made Bristol very easy. I can remember lapping the field quite a bit in races there. Definitely a lot more challenging than this game. We've wrecked 10 cars by now. That's also probably true. NASCAR 21, I could guarantee that'd probably be true. Probably would have wrecked myself 10 times by now. Really low on fuel here for Kyle Busch. He's going to have to pit within the next few laps, and still waiting on a lot of the other leaders to hit pit road. This is where the interesting moment of the race is about to begin. I should say the next most interesting race. When 155 laps on fuel at the UPS Speedway, doesn't look like that'll be the case here. Probably looking at pitting at lap 147. So Busch going to take this to lap 147 and then hit pit road. Working on the 6 car of Aaron Crocker right now. A little bit of contact between the 2 cars. Busch putting Crocker a lap down. Almost making contact with the next car on his outside. There's them cleanly. 2 more laps until Busch pits. His pit box will be on the front stretch. And Kyle Busch will pit this time by 3.3 second lead, but I think second place is already pitted. Busch is going to be in this time. He is on pit road, 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments for Kyle Busch. Needs to stay green all the way through green flag pit stops. He's a few laps led away. I believe about 4 laps led away from leading 2,000 laps on the season now. Mr. Clean going to work on the money stop, the only pit stop of the day at Bristol. 15.2 second stop, a clean one at that. Busch working his way off of pit road. Boyer on the outside. Caution is out. And that is exactly what didn't need to happen. Caution flag is out at Bristol. Trouble for the first time. The 56 and the 108 get together. Looked like the 56 was probably leaving pit road as the 108 was trying to get in. He was trying to pit off of turn 2, it looked like. And we have our first caution of the race. And Carl Edwards was the leader when the caution flag came out. So he'll pit now, and there are only 2 cars on the lead lap. That is unbelievable. 2 cars on the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. And we have just 97 laps to go, so time is winding down. Got to get back on the lead lap as soon as possible and hope for another caution, really. Casey Kane going to do just that as he gets by race leader Carl Edwards, the 113 fantasy driver in second. Edwards won 2 races ago for his first win of the season. Kyle Busch, who was dominating, just had a nil timing caution. Really couldn't go much. He definitely wouldn't have been able to go that far in fuel, so it didn't really matter. Gets by Boyer for 4th, but cycled ahead of him as well as Casey Kane cycled ahead of him through the green flag stops. Busch gets by the second place car. He's on the inside of Carl Edwards now as well, and he'll get back on the lead lap. So if we get a caution, Kyle Busch going to be back in the race. And he'll pass Casey Kane through turns 3 and 4 for 3rd place as well. So Kane and Busch are back on the lead lap. The 113 at second is on the lead lap. But Kyle Busch 15 seconds off the lead from Carl Edwards. Again, with 97 to go in the restart, was a lap down. We'll see what he can do. May have the fastest car in the field. But he's going to need a little bit of help to get back in this race. And the sooner, the better. These laps are going to go away pretty quickly. Glad we didn't take right sides, because although we would have cycled out ahead, we would be lacking on some old left side tires. It wasn't really an option in my head. And Busch is making up time pretty quickly on Carl Edwards, who I believe just got by Casey Kane, so we're back to just 3 cars on the lead lap again. Can't believe all but 2 cars pitted. Second race where we've seen a caution in the middle of green flag stops, and both of them it was the first caution of the day. It's the only stop here, and it was a second set of stops at the UPS Speedway. Fastest lap of the day for Busch, that last lap of 15.181. Didn't make any adjustments when he was on pit road. He's got a fast car. And although he's gaining a lot of time right now, though, the problem is when he gets into lap traffic, he's not going to be getting this much time back as quickly on Carl Edwards. Always take 4 tires in this game. Oh, yeah. Unless it's like maybe a late race caution, but mid-race, 4. Unless you're on a super speedway, I take 2 a lot. If it's a green flag stop. If I pit under caution, I take 4. And any non-super speedway, for sure, 4 tires. Busch just running time trial lap after time trial lap right now, trying to get back into this. Already down to 70, make that 80 laps to go at the line. Good news is it doesn't seem like Carl Edwards has one of the faster cars in the field, which is allowing Kyle Busch to be this much quicker than the 60. The problem is it was a full lap behind him. If a full lap were any sort of possibility to make up, a short track would probably be the only way under a long green flag run. But yeah, 97 laps isn't long compared to most other tracks. Edwards definitely able to save his tires a little bit. I can definitely tell you if the caution comes out, Kyle Busch is going to be hitting pit road again. Trying to take on fresher tires and not that many cars on the lead lap. I really don't think the 113 car is going to be that quick. I don't know where he was running before all that, but it couldn't have been very good. He was just lucky that he hadn't pit yet. Edwards quicker than him, but even Carl's not that quick. Busch getting through the lap traffic pretty well so far. .150 that last lap, fastest lap for Busch. The 60's got some clean air right now still. Kyle Busch, the first car to get into lap traffic since the restart. Of those that restarted towards the front of the field, whether they were on the lead lap or a lap down. Big stack up getting into the corner. They all checked up. It allowed for Busch to get by in the bottom. He didn't have to check up himself, though. He was able to pass about 2 or 3 cars. Luckily, the accordion was on the outside and not the inside. Lead is already down under 10 seconds. Edwards hasn't gotten to lap traffic yet. Well, the more lap cars he puts another lap down, it's more cars Kyle Busch is going to have to pass to catch him. Raw speed alone with no lap traffic, this would probably be possible, but with the lap traffic, it's definitely going to make it a little bit tougher. Slight contact there. And the 133 and the 5. Labonte moving Kenny Wallace up into that outside lane. .60 laps to go for Edwards at the line this time. 8.3 second lead. Potentially the most impressive win of the year for Kyle Busch if he can come from a lap down without any yellows. At Bristol with less than 100 to go. slight contact with Ryan Newman. I do think Carl Edwards may have to pick up the pace a little bit more. He's been in lap traffic for the last handful of laps, and that's where the lead is really starting to come down. Busch side by side with Tony Stewart. Lead under 7 seconds. We still have 55 laps left. Busch is pacing well enough for right now. Tires be able to actually sustain, though. How much is Edwards able to maybe hold on a little bit more with his tires versus with Busch? Busch in a battle for second with the 113. He got into him. That's going to slow both cars up a little bit. Contact was made. He's trying to squeeze him behind the 17 of Kenseth there. And now Busch is up to second. Still think even in second place, caution comes out. Got to consider pitting with likely still just 3 cars on the lead lap. Guess it depends on how many laps you would have left. 50 to go. 200 laps complete today at Bristol. And an intense 50 laps ensuing. Busch may not get to 2,000 laps led on the season today, as we have 4 laps to lead to still get there. And he may get to the lead, he may not before the end of the race. Not sure how many laps he'd have left when he does get to Edwards. Closer he gets to the front of the field, maybe the harder it's going to be to pass some of these lap cars as well. Ryan Vickers, Shane Meal, Clint Boyer just up ahead. Lead under 5 seconds. Boyer gets moved out of the way by Meal as they battle for position. Busch on the inside of his teammate, Brian Vickers. He'll clear him off of turn 2. Boyer trying to move Meal back as they continue to trade paint. Tell you what, this could have been Edwards' race to lose when that caution came out. And it is slowly slipping away. He's in a good spot, but not as great as it was before. It does look like he has freed himself up on the track map, though. It doesn't look like there's anybody else in front of him for now. Kyle Busch still has a ton of cars to pass to get to the 60. We're down to just 41 laps to go. Dive into the corner. Anytime he goes that low, he really has to be a lot more patient getting into the gas just because of the apex on the way in. Trying to get around these guys as cleanly as he can. And that didn't work. Light contact was made. Busch into Boyer. Will bump and run, trying to move the 2 car up the track behind his teammate of Miller in the 21. Bit of a stack up off turn 2 up ahead. Allows Busch to clear the 21 on entry into the next corner. I will say, it seems like these lap cars are maybe giving Busch a little easier of a time this go around versus at the start of the race today. Has been 100% easy with every car he's passed. It's Casey Kane. A little less than 3 seconds off the lead. 33 laps to go at the line. Coming down to the wire here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch trying to run down Carl Edwards. 30 laps to go. We had 1 caution in the middle of green flag stops in which only 2 cars were left on the lead lap. One of them being race leader Carl Edwards. And Kyle Busch, from a lap down in 5th on the restart, passed 2 cars for position and then quickly got back on the lead lap. There's still just 3 cars on the lead lap. And he has made up under a 97-lap green flag run to the checker if this stays green all the way to the end. Trying to run down Carl Edwards. He's 2 seconds off the lead as he clears lapper Dale Jr. off of turn 2. Halfway through the fuel and tire stint right now as well. And he's back into a little more clean air. Busch clearly faster than any other car on the track during the second half of this race. His largest lead at one point was only about 3 seconds. Edwards has a couple lap cars side by side in front of him the last couple laps. And it's down to a 1.3 second lead now, and he is just hoping these guys get out of his way quickly. And then start to race like that again behind him as Kyle Busch is closing. 4 lap cars between the top 2 right now. 1.2 seconds is the difference with 24 to go. And they are back to side by side behind the 60 of Edwards. Edwards has a little bit of clean air for now. There's a 1 second lead. Their contact between the 83 and the 5. Busch squeezes underneath him. We're going to have another Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Bristol finish. This time in the Busch Series. What a comeback for Kyle Busch even to get this close. 20 to go at the line. No more lap cars between the top two, and a half a second is the difference. 15 seconds off the lead. One full lap. And just 19 more to settle the score. Who will get through the lap traffic better? Will it be the 60 or the 5? And Edwards only has to hold on for about 4 more minutes. I don't know if that's enough time for him to be able to do it, though. Might be too much time. He had a full lap. There's no excuses for him. Busch continues to slowly close. Aaron Crocker, John Hamilton, the next 2 lap cars in front of Edwards. The 6 now holding up the 60 in the middle of 1 and 2. Busch closes right on the back bumper of Edwards. 15 to go. Can he use the lap car as a pick? Looking low off of turn 2. Into 3. There's contact. Side by side for the lead. Busch tried to knock the 60 in line behind the 120. Bottom lane is still open, and Busch is clear off of turn 2, and he takes the lead with 13 laps to go this time by. Now will Edwards be able to repay the favor, or can Busch pull away? Oh, Hamilton slides down right behind Busch, right in front of Edwards. Holds him up a little bit more. Busch has come from a lap down under green flag conditions at Bristol, with 97 to go in the restart, and it took him to 13 to go to take the lead. Lap traffic held Edwards up just enough, and Busch got through it at the right time and the right times. In certain cases in passing cars, he's got 3 more right in front of him. J.J. Yaley, Luke Trigger, and I believe the 137 car. Just got a little loose off turn 2 that time. Side by side right in front of Kyle. Oh, Busch just overran that corner terribly. And he's in the wall. Edwards going to close the gap. Over 2,000 laps led on the season right now for Kyle Busch. As of this race, as well as going wire to wire in our first race today, leading all 350 laps. Comeback not over yet. A little contact with another lap car. Edwards is coming. Busch with a block into turn 1. Will Edwards get to the bumper? He is so close, but can't do it. Edwards clears the lap car on the outside. 6 laps to go. Five to go now. Busch should catch up to Trigger. Where's the surrender flag? Get out of the way, Trigger. Busch is closing. 4 to go. Half a second lead again. Tucked right in line behind him. Busch needs to get around him cleanly. He'll get to the inside through 3 and 4. Still door to door in the front stretch into turn 1. That's going to put 1 lap car between the top 2 as Busch is clear of Trigger off of turn 2. It continues to pull away. 2 to go at the line. And the white flag will be in the air this time by 1 lap to go. Busch to the inside of the 103 car into turn 1. Edwards too far behind. He's got 2 lap cars between himself. 0 chance to get to the bumper of Kyle Busch. The comeback is surreal. Kyle Busch is going to win again at Bristol. He'll sweep Bristol this season as he wins the Sharpie Professional 250 from a lap down to win with 97 to go on the restart. All under green flag laps. And maybe the most satisfying win for Kyle Busch this season. The game tried to ruin it for us, and we still got the job done. It tried to cost us the win. The only caution we had to be right in the middle of green flag pit stops after lap 145. Right as we were coming in, too. Or right after we pitted, I should say. Take a look at the official results here to this one. Kyle Busch with the win. Goes on to lead 151 of 250 laps. Carl Edwards led 90, but did not get the win. Finishes second, as you saw. Pretty close finish, margin of victory, 0.6 of a second. 1 hour, 6 minutes, 51 seconds. Total time on race 2 today, just that 1 caution for 3 caution laps, 7 lead changes. 119.56 miles per hour was the average race speed. Ericsson finishes in 3rd. He was in that 113 car. Just 3 cars finished on the lead lap. Casey Kane, first car lap down in 4th. Clint Boyer rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Lyons finishes 6th. Marshall 7th. Ferris 8th. Shane Meal 9th. And Brian Vickers round out the top 10 in the 10th place position. He qualified 11th, finished 10th. Back-to-back top 10s today through the doubleheader for him. Tony Stewart led the first 9 laps from starting 3rd, finishes 14th. And that seems to be the only leaders in today's race. So I don't think we actually had 7 lead changes. I believe it would have been just the 4 lead changes. Stewart to get to the lead on Busch, then Busch back to the lead. And Edwards to the lead because no other drivers led during green flag pit stops. And then Busch back to the lead at the end. So 4 lead changes total in today's race. Irvin DNF today. Finley, Rogers. Rogers actually finished. So just Finley and Irvin DNF'd in the second race. 2 engine failures. We'll take a look at the point standings before we get out of the stream. SBC 250 at Milwaukee will be the next race. That'll be tomorrow night on the channel. 250 laps under the lights at the Milwaukee Mile. '24th win for Kyle Busch at Bristol, yep. Absolute craziness. 578-point lead, and only the top 5 in points are mathematically in the championship hunt going into the final 6 races of the season. Again, once we clinch the championship early, we will just end the season at that point. So we only have a couple races to try to get to a 4.6 average finish, which I'm about to tally up what the new average finishes. First, want to see what the magic number would be to clinch the championship at Milwaukee. So we'd have to be 780 points ahead of second place in the standings after Milwaukee. That is impossible. There's no way that Clint Boyer will lose 202 points in one race. So, no matter what, Kyle Busch will not be able to clinch the championship at the Milwaukee Mile tomorrow night. So we will still race the Busch Series tomorrow at Milwaukee, but no chance of clinching the championship. We'll have to wait till Michigan, the race after that, to try to do it. If we have a chance even going into that, depends on what happens, obviously, in the next race. Because technically, if Clint Boyer finishes second, even if he doesn't lead a lap, finishes second, Busch leads the most laps again. He could gain 20 points on and be 598. But I guess after the following, I was going to say, yeah, never mind. So maybe looking at 2 more races to try to clinch the championship, but definitely can't do it after the next one. It is possible it could be down to just Boyer and Busch after the next race. Vickers would have to have a really off performance, so he'd have to lose at least 59 points But yeah, Busch going to get his 12th win. If you want to stick around for a couple extra minutes here, about to find out the next average finish for Kyle Busch. See where that's at going into Milwaukee tomorrow night. Should just take me about a minute here. .136 to 5. Average finish is a 5.0. So a 5.0 average finish for Kyle Busch this season, heading into the next race. Phil Moore, thanks for tuning in right at the very end. Thanks for everybody tuning in, though, on this Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the Super Bowl later today. I've got the Eagles winning in my parlay today. So that is my pick. If I had to predict the final score, I'm going to say 24-20 Philadelphia. Yeah, that's going to be my final score. 24-20. I've got Philly winning. Thanks for everybody tuning in. See you guys tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're just tuning in for the first time, did not know, also live commentary streams all the way throughout the course of Speed Weeks. Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live commentary for the Daytona 500 qualifying. And then the dual races on Thursday, the truck race Friday, Saturday the Xfinity and ARCA race, as well as Sunday, we'll be live streaming live commentary of the Daytona 500 for the first time ever on the channel. See you guys throughout the course of those streams. See you guys tomorrow night as well. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night.